All right, 6 o'clock. It's that time again. We'll call the meeting to order. This meeting is being streamed live through the St. Clair Township website. By attending a public meeting of council, you are consenting to your image, voice, and comments being recorded and published to the Township website. Anyone who is invited to speak will be recorded, and their voice, image, and comments will form part of the live stream and public record. Land acknowledgements. We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Chippewa, Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples, referred to collectively as the Anishinaabe. It is through the connection of the Anishinaabe with the spirit of the land, water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and values. Together, as treaty people, we have shared responsibility to act with respect for the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future for those generations to come. Declaration of pecuniary interest. If anyone has it, you can have it now or at the appropriate time. And we'll continue on. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on December 1st, 2025 be received and approved. We have a mover for this. Councillor Langstaff. Second. Councillor Brown. Anybody have any questions on this one? All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the minutes from the following township committees be accepted and approved. St. Clair River Trail Committee, October 22nd, 25, and the Moore Museum Advisory Committee, November 5th, 25. Have a mover for this. Councillor Myers. Second. Councillor Foster. Councillor Foster, you did that one. Sorry. Anybody have any questions on any of these? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the following information items be received. 6-1, building permit comparison, October 25. 6-2, Lambton County Council highlights, November 26, 25. And 6-3, St. Clair Region Conservation Authority, municipal letter, Bill 68, and Conservation Authority consolations. Do we have a mover to receive the report? Deputy Mayor, thank you. Second. Councillor Langus. All those in favor? Carried. Would anybody like to make a motion for the information, any of the information items? Looks like we are good for that one. Be it resolved that the taxation, excuse me, write-offs 2025 report as submitted by Senior Tax Clerk Debbie Churchill be received, and that in accordance with the provisions of Section 357 and 358 of the Municipal Act, the treasurer be authorized to write off property taxes for the year of 2025 as identified in Appendix A. Have a mover for this one. Councillor Langus. Second. Councillor Brown. Anybody have any questions? All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the DWQMS Management Review Report as submitted by wastewater specialist Nova Vanderslot be received as information. Mover for this one. Councillor Foster. Second. Councillor Langus. Anybody have any questions? All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the collection and processing of non-eligible recycling materials report as submitted by Coordinator of Operations David Neely be received, and that the Halton Recycling Limited DBA Mterra Environmental be awarded the contract to collect and process all non-eligible recycling materials for the period between January 1st, 26 and December 31st, 29, and the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the associated agreement and bylaw. Do we have a mover for this? Councillor Langstaff, second. Councillor Langus. Anybody have any questions on this? All those in favor? Carried. Well, just slide one in there, Pat.
Well, just on that recycling, we're presently with Intera, I believe, anyway. I mean, yeah. No problems with their service to speak of?
No, we are satisfied with their service.
What was the talking in Petrolia about going from the big buckets to the small buckets? Was that ever brought up, or?
Was that for recycling or waste?
Yeah, it was recycling.
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. I'll find out more info for you, but I know a lot of people were talking about it. Thanks. Be it resolved that the stop sign request, Bentic Drive report as submitted by Coordinator of Operations David Neely be received, and that the request for a new stop sign on Bentic Drive at the south intersection of Paddock Green Circle be denied. Have a mover for this, Deputy Mayor. Second. Councilor Myers. Anybody have anything on this? You'd like? All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the storm sewer outfall at Corunna Pumping Station tender results report as submitted by Coordinator of Engineering Andrew Malpass be received, and that the tender submitted by Van Bree Infrastructure in the amount of $657,998 plus HST be accepted, and the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the contract and other related documents. Do we have a mover for this report? Councillor Foster. Seconder. Councillor Langus. Anybody have any questions? Councillor Brown.
Well, I'm glad to see this pricing, because there is quite a variance in the 5 bids that were submitted. I was curious that did that also go out to a Dakoko? And they maybe didn't bid? I know they did the shoreline work before.
Andrew.
It was posted on bids and tenders. Any contractor in Canada can access the tender.
Through your worship, I know Van Bree just finished up a beautiful project on the Parkway. Just wondering if we're going to have scheduling in place to try to make sure that they move this project along, and whether they're rewarded with draws or not. I'm just wondering if there's timing schedules in place to make sure they prioritize this project.
I'm not familiar with what went on at Cedar Park, but it was my understanding that they had some permitting issues that made them miss the March 15th window. We held off on tendering this until we had all the permits in place. By having this, by bringing this project up at the last meeting to get approved ahead of the 2026 capital plan, and by having it tendered and hopefully and awarded prior to Christmas, we're giving it our best shot to get out of the water by March 15th.
Okay. Anybody else? All those in favor? Carried. We're pretty much 6:10. We have a zoning bylaw amendment for Smith Line. Ian? Pretty bad. I wondered.
Okay, Mayor and Council, members of the public. We're here for a public meeting for a zoning amendment bylaw, the application that was proposed. This is for the council meeting, December 15th. We're in the right room. Good start. Next slide. Oh, I got it. I got it. Property is located on Smith Line. The application was first heard in July 29th of 2024. And with all applications at the Committee of Adjustment for consent to sever, there's always conditions that go with that approval. And one of those conditions is always a zoning amendment which protects the remnant piece or the parent piece for no further buildings, no further residential buildings, and the part that's severed, protecting it from no further farming, and it just exclusively used for residential. So the property is owned by the Hay family. The application for the parcel to be severed is roughly about a little over 3 acres, and the remnant piece was roughly going to be 47 acres. The location on the intersection of Smith Line and Shelby Line, or Shelby Road, sorry. This is what the property looks like. In this particular sketch, that gives you the dimensions of the retained piece. And the next slide, it gives you a larger scale for the severed piece. Both pieces have access from Smith Line. On the severed piece, for the residential, it has a frontage of 157 meters, or roughly about 517 feet. So there's some things that I want to go over with the council and any members of the public that are here that are interested. There's various planning documents that are considered when we do a severance, one of them being the provincial policies. And in the policies, 4.3.3, it specifically says the creation of in prime agricultural areas is discouraged and may only be permitted in accordance with the province guide for 1 new residential lot per farm consolidation for a resident surplus to an agricultural operation. And what that means is if 2 farming operations come together, one of the houses could be a surplus and they could sell that. That's what they will permit. The exception to this is that the lot that's being severed sometimes is bigger than what is asked for in the county official plan and in the St. Clair Township official plan, which is 2 acres. Sometimes it is bigger than that because you need more space for the septic system. In the St. Clair official plan that was adopted roughly about a year ago, one of the sections out of it talks about severancing and the amount of land that's needed for the remaining piece or the remnant piece, and that is 30 acres. That is roughly, 30 hectares, which is roughly 74 acres, and that matches the county requirement. If you recall, when the official plan was adopted, we wanted those 2 numbers to match in the county and in the township. So some of the things we had to consider when we were looking at this, is it a surplus? It is not a surplus because it's vacant land. There was no residence on the property. Will there be a farm consolidation? We are uncertain if the owner has more than 1 farm property, but even if they do, one of the requirements is that you're supposed to have a house on the piece that's being severed, and it doesn't have this. So if there be a consolidation, it's not going to be really influence the final decision. Limit in size. So like I said, the severed piece is roughly 3 acres. The township official plan says 2 acres. There could be an exception to that. And the remaining piece should be 30 hectares or roughly 74 acres. We have, when we drew the sketch for the severed piece, which is There's a drainage or a creek going through, which runs it diagonal to the property. And the 3 acres is the triangular piece. Can I go to the next slide? No. Can I back it up? I cannot. There's the 2 pieces. So there's a bird drain separates the triangular piece from the remnant piece. Again, it doesn't meet the required amount for the part that's being retained. Limit size, new dwellings are prohibited. Part about we have to protect the remnant piece from no further dwellings. We go through that exercise. You've seen several of those. And other ones that we've done, all we're doing is protecting it from no further residential buildings on the piece that's being retained. Does it comply with MDS? We were a little bit uncertain about this. There is a farm with a barn that we think that was used for horses. Not sure if it still is, but if it is, we're skeptical if it would meet MDS. And the last one, does the retained lot have an area of greater than 74 acres, which it doesn't. So where does that leave us? Again, just repeating what I said earlier, it was heard July 29th, 2024. Heard by the Committee of Adjustment. In my, just a very small report this time, because I included my co-workers report, I indicated that under the Planning Act, the municipality has the option to create a Committee of Adjustment. And that Committee of Adjustment is tasked with doing severances and minor variance applications. As planning staff, we are, how to say it, responsible for bringing to the council all the information. So what we did with the Committee of Adjustment, we presented them with the same information, which we highlighted the same points that I did tonight. It was voted at that time. It was approved as it was presented, and that's one of the things about the Committee of Adjustment is it is how can I say it, a separate body that can make their own decisions. So they can take the information that the staff has provided, and they can discuss it, interpret it as they may. But we have to give the same information for both the Committee of Adjustment and the council. So, you know, some people might say, or some members of either the committee or the council might think, what I've presented here tonight is either not applicable or it doesn't, you know, it doesn't apply, but we have to present this information. So based on the information, what we did is gave the same recommendation as we gave to the Committee of Adjustment. So, which being the condition to the consent application is not consistent with the PPS, does not conform to the county or the township documents. For these reasons, staff recommends the council considers the refusal of the application, or how can I say, consider all the information. And that's pretty well sums up everything that I have to say. If there's any comments or questions from the public, if not, I'll try my best to answer the questions from the council.
Worship, do you know if the applicant has any adjoining farmland to this retained parcel?
I don't know for sure, but I don't think they do. Otherwise, it would merge, they could merge it with the, if it was adjacent, immediately adjacent.
Yeah, thank you. Just try to save some time here. We all know there's lots of rules and regulations. They don't all fit every situation. And I was on the Committee of Adjustment that looked at this, and our opinion was that what we basically had was a piece of unfarmable land. It's 3-acre triangle, which you could hardly turn your tractor around on. And it's separated from the rest of the farm by a drainage ditch. So in order to even try and farm it, you have to drive around the block. So we decided that rather than have it sit there and grow weeds, it would be more useful to let someone build a house on it and keep it maintained. So I will make a motion to approve this.
Okay, motion to approve. We got a seconder, Counselor Foster. Any more questions? Go ahead, Counselor.
Yes, I think that was very well said, Deputy Mayor Miller. I'm going to support this motion. It's going to provide more housing in St. Clair Township. It's going to increase property values on both parcels, which will increase dollars for the tax base. I look forward to seeing this motion pass.
Actually, Ian, it was approved already, as you said, by a committee of council, a committee of adjustment. So, yeah.
I just want to remind the council, if they approve this, that further application, staff will still take the same approach, review the planning documents if applicable.
Yep, thank you. Anybody else? All right, call the question. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you, Ian. Next, Heritage St. Clair Annual Report. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you, Mayor Agar and Council, for entertaining our report once again. It's always interesting to see what we've done all year. And like we always say, years go awfully quick, because it feels like I was just up here. So you do have a detailed report in your package, so I'm just going to highlight a few of the things that we've covered this year. This is just a picture of some of our committee. There's 12 members on our committee, plus 2 members of council, plus 3 additional people that are on the Abandoned Cemeteries Committee. So here we're gathered at the Smith White Cemetery on Rokeby Line. That was October 25th when we had our little tour of the revitalized cemeteries on Rokeby. One of the projects that has been ongoing for a number of years is the Heritage Hamlet signs. We're proud to say that 27 of those will be installed thanks to Public Works that have really helped us out with that. And the project will be complete in the spring. All the remaining signs are at the Wilkesport Maintenance Office now, so they'll just be waiting for the right opportunity to get those in. So we're quite happy that it's going to be finished up. So we've got 3 left to do, plus the replacement sign. We're not quite sure why Plum Creek Chromar has been so popular, but that one will be replaced as well, because we never did get back the second set that was stolen, believe it or not. And then since we had the issue out at Plum Creek, we decided that why not offer the signs for sale? So thank you very much to council for approving that. This lady had contacted me, and her husband was so excited because she lived in Lecky, just up in the corner. So she was quite happy, and then after I got the sign made, I thought, oh, wait a minute, do we have approval to do this? So happily, we sold 26 more signs. And that's only in about a 3-week period. So we're going to offer those, I think, all year and maybe have quarterly intakes on those. So hopefully they're going to be done at the end of this week and just in time for Christmas. The Port Lambton was the most popular, believe it or not. So that was kind of fun to see where all the orders came from. And they are, I wish I had one, they're 36 by 14, so they're just the right size for a garage or a rec room. This year we installed 4 storyboards. As you can see, the Erie and Huron Railway. We did the Moortown Station, Whitebread Station, we did one at Stag Island, and the International Boundaries as well. So those ones are all up. We are working in partnership with the St. Clair River Trail. We're going to hopefully do a few down on the river parks this year. And we also thought in the next couple of years too, that we're doing all the settlements that are disappeared. So we're going to try and do them for the current communities as well, so that people that live there can learn the history of what's right in their backyard. the 50th anniversary of the Moore Museum. We were happy to provide a plaque for that as well. So that was a bronze plaque that was a nice commemoration. It was a really nice day that day to present it as well. We're hoping in 2027 to have one done for the Sombre Museum as well, which will be, I believe, their anniversary in 2027. Oh, and when you send a PowerPoint and you get the PowerPoint, it looks a little different. That my title isn't supposed to be that messy. But so Glenda Young and Catherine Bowman are here at the Fisher Aussie and Postal Cemetery. They did the unveiling. Thank you to Deputy Mayor and Councillor Langus for being able to attend. And this just shows a little bit better picture of the Smith White Cemetery. All these are on Rokeby Line. I don't know how many times I've drove by and you really didn't notice the cemetery. So up in the top with the large trees, we were going to cut them down, but once the arborists came, we were able to trim them a little bit. The concrete cairn there was revitalized with grass, and then you can see the new fencing. And Van Tam Fencing did a nice job for us. And they were good enough to take away all the brush, which was kind of nice. We also put a new fence in at the Gray Cemetery. And for those that don't know Doug White, he is a member of our Abandoned Cemeteries Committee, and he graciously paid for half of that fencing because it's bordered his property. I couldn't talk him out of it, so it was a very nice donation. We did a little more outreach this year as well. We had some brochures and some displays set up at the Moore Museum 50th, as well as the Blueberry Social. So Barb and I were at the Smith Cabin unveiling of the new overhang on there. And then our big project, which I think you were probably aware, was the Ware and St. Clair puzzle booklet. And we got 2,000 of these printed. I still have some at home, but they got distributed to all the St. Clair Township libraries and schools. And thanks to Councillor Langus for going to the schools. And they were very thrilled to get them. So it's a fun little booklet. And there are some out in the lobby if anybody wants to take one home and see how they make do with that. So in general, we're plugging away. Sometimes the storyboards take 6, 7, 8 times to get them right, but we try and make everything historically correct. And we just want to thank council for all their support, and we will be adding our budget request in for the budget shortly. So thank you very much, and hopefully we'll get some new plaques up this year and keep on trucking. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Do we have time to get the Zoom on? All righty. 6:30, Dr. Roy, Faculty of Medicine, University of Toronto, Deputation of Opposition to VOTEC. All right, Dr. Roy, welcome. Can you hear us?
Yes, hi there. Can you hear me okay?
Certainly can. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm just going to share some slides quickly. Let me just get on here if I can. Okay, and I'll just put that to slideshow. Okay, is that visible to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm grateful to have the chance to address council today on the health impacts of gas plants. And I am Dr. Millie Roy. Oh, sorry, one moment here. Let's try to take over here. And I am Ontario co-chair for the Canadian Association of Physicians for the Environment. I have no conflict of interest to declare, and I'm not paid to speak here today. So natural gas is primarily methane, a fossil fuel 85 times worse than carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas. And gas plants harm human health. We'll just dig right in by two main pathways. There's first carbon pollution, which creates climate change, and the second pathway being air pollution, leading especially to nitrogen dioxides. So if we look at that first pathway, climate change is the single greatest threat to our health of the 21st century, and our survival is at stake. How does this happen? Burning gas, for example, drives more extreme heat events, such as the BC heat dome that killed over 600 people. Burning gas fuels wildfires, and new science tells us that the smoke is twice as deadly as previously thought. Climate change is aggravating nearly 60% of infectious diseases while increasing antibiotic resistance, and has devastating mental health impacts on our youth, such as depression and suicide. If we look at that second pathway of air pollution, over 8 million people today are dying around the world prematurely because of air pollution, and that translates to almost 7,000 Ontarians every year. Now, when it comes to gas plants, the main culprit, the main air pollutant is nitrogen dioxide, NO2, which is linked to the health harms of air pollution that we'll talk about in a moment. It is also linked to increased emergency room and hospital admissions, and it is linked to premature death. Now, when we breathe in air pollutants like NO2, it passes right across our lungs and into the bloodstream to circulate through the whole body. So not only do we see lung diseases like asthma, but serious heart diseases like heart attacks, brain diseases like stroke and dementia, multiple forms of cancer, pregnancy risks like stillbirths and birth defects, and again, mental health harms like depression and suicide. So what is a safe distance to live from a gas plant given these risks? A lot more research is needed, but some studies are showing that health impacts occur even within a 20-kilometer radius. If we look at current day Sarnia, it's within about 15 kilometers of the existing St. Clair Energy Center, and it would be about 25 kilometers from the proposed FogTech site. And the communities I've shown in red here are all within 15 kilometers of the site. To make matters worse, multiple other industrial pollutants in the area complicate and add to the health risks. So we already know that in this area, we're dealing with triple the national average rate of leukemia. We know that some pollutants, such as benzene, a known carcinogen, sulfur dioxide, and fine particulate matter, are already found to exceed the safe exposure limits. So better solutions exist. We know that gas-fired electricity compromises public health and safety, whereas renewable energy eliminates those health risks of gas. We also know that investing in the green energy sector can generate triple the jobs compared to the fossil fuel sector. And I submitted all of the references in advance. That 70% of the gas we're burning in Ontario is American. So this compromises our sovereignty while the US is profiting. And worldwide currently, almost 93% of all new electricity is actually renewable. So choosing gas risks leaving us behind. And the VogTech proposal threatens irreplaceable local farmland, and this is no longer necessary. With the new emerging field of agrivoltaics, we know that many crops and livestock can actually thrive in the presence of solar panels, which actually increase farmers' profits and security. And when it comes to cost, as you see in the chart here, that gas and nuclear are actually the most expensive energy options for Ontario, whereas wind and solar are now the cheapest sources right across the planet. And we just saw our rates go up by an unacceptable 29% November 1 due to poor energy choices. And we have a chance here to do better. Many jurisdictions around the world have already made the transition successfully to large-scale renewables, cold weather countries like Germany, Denmark, and other councils across Ontario have already voted against gas plant proposals in the interest of their constituents. So council's decision today on the proposed new gas plant is a public health decision. It will affect health and lives already exposed to industrial pollution in the area. And CAPE respectfully hopes that Council will make the right decision to reject the VogTech proposal. And my last slide, I quote the Canadian Public Health Association, which reminds us that we are running out of time and chances. We are the last generation with the opportunity to avoid catastrophic climate change, which we need to treat like the public health emergency that it is. So my request to Council, please take a moment before you vote today. Think of your constituents, family, friends, loved ones in the area, and please make the right decision. This is a moment of greatest opportunity, and I welcome questions, and I thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you very much for your presentation. Anybody have any questions? All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your time again.
You're welcome, thank you. All right, carrying on, VogTech. Well, how was your trip down today? See a little bit of snow on the way? Yeah. Oh, can you turn your mic on? There's a little plastic disc at the bottom, just push it, of the microphone. There you go, yeah, till you got the red light. There, you're good.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Thank you, dear Councilor. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Yeah, so my trip went well. I wanted to come here so we can have a conversation about the project.
That's good, that's better than the Zoom.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, carry on, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So December 1st, we had a meeting with the council about the two proposals we have for the Township of St. Clair. As you know, the first proposal is to build a battery and energy storage project, which essentially capture the energy during off-peak and dispatch the energy when needed by the grid to lower the carbon intensity of the grid. And the second project we have is a gas power plant, which is eventually will be complemented with hydrogen when the hydrogen become more available to reduce the carbon intensity of the power plant. Last time, the council deferred the municipal support resolution decision to ensure we could work with the staff and the fire chief to address outstanding issue. Some of the issue or concern or comments raised by the council last time was ensuring that the fire chief is fully informed. What we did, we connected with the fire department. We spoke with the fire chief and the deputy fire chief. The council also had a comments about pre- and post-road construction analysis to ensure that we have something to the effect of taking care of any road damage resulting from the construction of the project. What we did in the MOU, we're proposing to the municipality, to the township, we making the commitment to repair fully all the expense, all the damage caused by the construction. Also, we had a comments about community benefit. Comments were made, $1,000 per megawatt per year. What we're proposing is, yes, the $1,000 per megawatt per year, but to review that every 5 years and account for the increase and take into consideration the inflation, which will result in an increase of 25% every 5 years. The outcome of all these discussions is explicitly outlined in clear and detailed terms in the Memorandum of Understanding to ensure a shared accountability. In terms of the fire standard, the battery and energy storage unit will comply with all the legislation. The natural gas plant will also comply with all the legislation. In terms of our discussion with the St. Clair Fire Department, we will meet and comply with all the additional requirements of the fire departments. We will collaborate with the fire department on emergency response, planning, and training. We'll go more in details in those aspects of the project at the site plant phase of the project. The pre and post road construction. So we will do a pre-construction road analysis that the construction project will use. And at the end of the project, the construction project, we'll do a post-construction road analysis. We'll cover the cost of any road damage caused by the project construction to the satisfaction of the township. The community benefit confirmed our commitment under the MOU to provide community benefit value at $1,000 per megawatt per year upon being awarded an ISO contract. We build and operate the site over 20 years with community benefit provided throughout the full terms. Every 5 years, the annual contribution amount will be subject to review with an increase of 25% by mutual agreement between the company to account for inflation. So what we're requesting today, we're requesting for a municipal support resolution to proceed with the ISO procurement. Should we be successful, we will continue working with Township of St. Clair in accordance with the MOU. So clearly, our ask today is to obtain a blanket municipal support resolution, St. Clair blanket municipal support confirmation letter, and St. Clair for the battery energy storage, the municipal support confirmation letter, which are all the form standard from ISO. So at this point, this is all I have to say today. I'm inviting you if you have any questions or comments.
Anybody have questions?
Thanks for your presentation. I'm just curious, you said that the gas energy plant would be taking, you wanted to come here, but once hydrogen is available, you're going to switch out? Is that what you meant by that?
So what happens is when hydrogen become available, we will use hydrogen to complement the gas so that the carbon intensity of the power plant will be significantly reduced. So that's a mitigation to deal with question of carbon and yes. So that's the plan we have for the project.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Through your worship, I understand that for you to switch over from natural gas to hydrogen, though, you would have to come back to council to get approval to switch your fuel source, yeah?
Okay, anybody else? Go ahead.
Thank you for your presentation. The one question I have, you're making both applications for the BEST project, battery storage, and then also for the natural gas. Do you expect that you're going to get approvals for both? Is that the idea behind this? Or if you just get the approval, your first project is the battery storage? And what's contingent on the natural gas portion proceeding?
No, we have both projects going on there, and if we can have both, that's fine. We'll be happy with it. But we're understanding that it's a competitive process. Only here in St. Clair, you have, I think, 2 or 3 other proponents proposing natural gas plant. We propose both, so it give us more options. And yes.
Does IESO, do they sometimes split them up? Like, so if you're applying for gas and battery storage, do they, when they issue their permit or whatever you want to call it, do they sometimes split them up? Like, you either get the gas one or you get the battery storage?
Yes, it's 2 different projects, so it's subject to a competitive process. So they might approve one and not approve the other, or they might approve both. It depends. It's a competitive process, but it's 2 different projects,
Yeah.
completely separate.
One more question I have that just kind of came up. Water, when you take water, is it pretty much just your startups? That's when you draw water?
So essentially, the strategy we'll have for this project is to take the water and then store them in tank, and then process it, recirculate, and sometime we take some top up to add to maybe some lost water due to evaporation, for example. But yes, that's how we'll do it.
So you have kind of a closed loop, you just use the same water over and over? So
Yes.
you're not taking because we only have so much supply of the water.
Exactly,
right? So, yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so that's why we need to have a tank
Yeah,
to store more and then use the closed loop. But in the closed loop, you lose some due to evaporation. So that's why you need to tap a little bit more to complement. what
I
is
just meant it's not taking it all the time, you're
No,
just
yeah.
filling and starting.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly, yes.
Yep, thank you. Go ahead, Counselor.
Through your worship, I'm not sure if the right department's here today to answer this. I understand, batteries are hard to tax. I also appreciate, Gabriel, for increasing your offer on the battery storage by 25%. How else are we going to make a net positive on a battery storage facility in St. Clair? Are we going to, is the property tax rate class going to change from agricultural to industrial? I'm just making sure that this is a positive for the community and not a net negative.
Charlie's not here. He was, or Charlie George. He was gonna check on remember the slabs, if they were, did he ever get back to you on that? Yeah, go ahead.
Through the mayor, thank you. I just have a question, why you waited so long to come to council? It felt very rushed, as I had spoke at the original meeting, the last meeting.
Good question. We were doing our due diligence behind the scene, and we came to council. Initially, we wanted to come in October, and we thought that, well, in October we had enough time to do it, but we didn't anticipate that it would take like a certain process. So initially we thought that we had enough time when we came. We targeted October for the council, but we are completely available to continue discussion even after the municipal support resolution. We're completely available to continue discussion with the city staff and all the people involved into basically the development of the project. The decision is not ending here. It's a long process, a project like that. So we completely available.
Two questions. I don't think this has come up yet. The local trades you plan on using when you build local?
So the idea is to use as much as possible the local trade.
That's very important.
Absolutely. We do it. This project is for the community. Is to improve the community position in terms of economic development. So an important piece of it is the use of the local trade. So absolutely, that's what we're planning to do and we intend to do as much as possible. And a project like this also, the fact that you create power, it create also opportunity for other type of project, even those related to energy. So I'm thinking, for example, hydrogen. The starting point for hydrogen is power. So I think a project like this provide a lot of options for the community for even more economic benefit.
Okay, thank you. One question for my clerk here. Has everything turned out the way you expected? Everything is run smooth?
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, like Gabriel alluded to, he did meet with us to negotiate the terms of the MOU that you guys see on the agenda today. Both our staff and the fire staff was satisfied with the terms that have been agreed to.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Through your worship, Dave Neely, have you been brought into conversation on the potential impact on our roads? I understand it's sometimes hard to understand if life cycle's been reduced after a project this. How do you feel? You know the burden we have on our roads and bridge infrastructure. Are you satisfied with where we're at with that?
To answer the first part, no, I have not been brought into that discussion, but I understand sounds like there's a clause in the memorandum about a pre and post inspection of the road. As long as there's a commitment there in writing that they would pay for damage, I am comfortable enough at this point.
We'll send them up Highway 40.
Well, and I would have to know more of the details of where they're accessing and what roads they're actually going to use, but it sounds like this is on the corner of Bickford and Greenfield, correct? Yeah. So that section of Bickford is a county road, so that would be up to them to comment on that, but the Greenfield is ours, and it's a gravel piece of road. So damage to the gravel can be fixed relatively cheaply.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, we'll continue. Did you have?
Well, I just want to say this is one of several applications that are going before ISO, and I think we have supported the other ones in the past, and there's no guarantee that this project from VOTEC is going to be approved. It's the window where they say they have to have these long-term capacity, yet they have to meet the outage, and then the ISO people review and determine which projects are best suited to move forward. Like I say, with the other energy providers we have, like the one on Petrolia Line and the other one down across from Terra, is they've all looked to expansions. I think we at least have two others in our area that are looking to expand.
Yeah.
This presentation just happens to be the new kid on the block, right?
Yeah. Okay, we've had a good go here, so there is a motion. Be it resolved that Mayor Agar be authorized to endorse a motion of support resolution for VOTEC Renewables for both the BEST proposal and a natural gas proposal for submission into IESO LT2 RFP intake on the property on Bickford Line, known as PIN 43308-0153 LT, and that if the bids are successful, their site plan approvals will be subject to confirmation of adequate water and sewer capacity. There's my water. Would anybody like to move it? Deputy Mayor, we have a seconder. Councilor Myers, thank you. Any more questions? All right, I'll call a question. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, carried. Thank you. Thank you, Gabriel. Be careful driving home. Did you give him directions? Oh, yeah. Bylaws. Be it resolved that the following bylaws receive all three readings and thereby passed. 8.1 Bylaw 45 of 2025, Agreement Mterra Recycling Collection. And 8.2 Bylaw 46 of 2025, confirming. Yep.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to make a note that you'll notice that there's no zoning bylaw, actually, the actual bylaw is not there at this meeting. That was because, if you recall, our staff was not in support of the bylaw, so it'll be at the next meeting. So just to make a note of that.
Okay, thank you, sir. We have a mover for this. Councilor Foster, second. Councilor Langus. All those in favor? Carried. Where are we at now? Councilors' reports. Moving right along. Councilor Brown.
Of all the nights, I didn't type it out, but, well, I've had a busy time. There was a hearing committee that St. Clair Region Conservation Authority put on with the lawyers so people could better understand how hearings are conducted and how directors from the Conservation Authority are there to represent the authority and not necessarily the interest of the municipality. And that lawyer was there that when we're in a hearing committee at the Conservation Authority, we wear our conservation hats. So it was interesting. There was a number of questions it generated, and so some of the events was at the turkey raffle that the firefighters from Corunna put on, hosted at the Legion. It was a good night the following night for the Fire Department Awards nights, and congratulations to all the awards recipients. We're well protected by our firefighters here in St. Clair Township. And we had a conservation meeting yesterday, and it went good. Everybody's asking what's going to happen with the proposal reducing the number of conservation areas from 35 down to 7, and our general manager is still getting bits and bytes of information until the provincial government decides exactly how that's going to play out. It'll at least be a year out, so that'll take us past the same time as the next municipal election. And then on the 12th of December, I had a foundation meeting with the Conservation Foundation members, and that was about it until tonight. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all the members of council and all the public. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Foster.
Yes, Merry Christmas to everybody. And I attended the Firefighters Award, excellent meal. It was really a nice night. And then just been busy. Want to thank all the community for all the donations and for the food drives, the contributions to the Corunna Community Food Bank. I know the families are really appreciative. That's it.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. On December 5th, I attended the golf course Christmas party, which is kind of a fundraiser for the golf course. On the 6th, I attended the Farmers Awards night, and I must say the golf course did a great job both nights with the food and the way they handled the situation. And I was very impressed with the amount of awards that were handed out to the firemen. It's good to see that many people have been around that long. I apologize. I missed the St. Clair Region meeting and the St. Joe's Christmas luncheon because I had a medical appointment in London. So anyway, Merry Christmas to all.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Langus, the traveler.
Yes, I was away. I went for fun times in Punta Cana and then came back and froze in Edmonton. And spent a lot of time in the airports getting delayed consistently with every single flight. But I also received some calls, emails, and concerns about when we get snow and people want their driveway right away, or could they have salt on their road? Could we make sure we get a small machine to go behind the big plow to clear the driveways? There's just all kinds of concerns out there.
Holy smoke.
Comparing us,
You gonna get one of them days?
yeah, comparing us to Sarnia because they do that. So I said, well, okay, but we're not Sarnia. And, you know, the other one was about having an outreach program that would help seniors in our community with their driveways. And I said, that's not up our alley. It's something that we can't take care of. But anyway, so I got about 6 calls about things like that and emails. And then I also had my first course in healthy democracy for leaders for, you know, if I think I want to run again next year. So that's interesting. And before I left, Councillor Foster and I entertained the Girl Guides, and they wanted to know about women in politics. And we did a little false council with them, and it was fantastic, the questions they came up with. And it was awesome. Merry Christmas.
Very good, thank you. Councillor Myers.
Since the last meeting, I attended the Wilkesport Community Center Christmas gathering. Assisted with the Wilkesport Community Center Winter Market on Saturday and Country Jamboree on Sunday. That's about it. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone, council and public.
Councillor Langstaff.
Thank you. I also attended the Wilkesport Hall Board Christmas dinner, the Wilkesport Country Jamboree. Thank you, Bill and his family, for putting that on. Your wife can sing. Not too many people knew that, I don't think, going into it. I also attended Christmas in Brigden with the Optimist Club. So lots of Santa Claus with my 2-year-old and wife, and just like to wish everyone Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Yeah, like everybody, I've been busy. Alex board meeting I had, a golf course Christmas party. That was great. It was a good time. Legion firefighter turkey raffle. There was a big crowd there, and it worked out well over at the Legion. OPP drive-through at Operation Christmas Tree. Stood out there for quite a while and got cold. Brigden Market, firefighter awards night, which was great. And as the deputy mayor says, there was so many. That was a great night. I attended Plowing Match 27 meeting, laws meeting, provincial parliament consultation for budget. So if anybody has any ideas, I'm going to email off a bunch of for grants and stuff like that. So if anybody has any ideas for what they would like to see in the budget from the province, just give me a yell. I went to the Wilkesport Market this weekend. It was fun. I'm telling Councillor Myers I enjoyed the elderberry for the first time ever, so had a good time there. I attended St. Joseph's School, their Christmas lunch last week, which was great. There was like 400 kids there, and it was awesome. That's one of the fun points of doing this job. Yesterday was the Courtright Santa Parade, and I felt very sorry for Santa there, but he's used to the cold. But it was pretty cold for him out there. I noticed he had a lot of icicles hanging from his his beard, but it was great. So yeah, it's Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and safe holiday season for everybody. And last but not least, we still have the 100,000 in from the hydro, and we have to put that into a fund so it doesn't get into the revenue fund. So until we can figure out what we do with it, would anybody like to make a motion to open up an account to put that into? Councilor Brown, thank you. Second. Councilor Langus, all those in favor? Carried.
I thought we were going to split it up.
We can do that next year. All right. So I think that comes to a close. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And be it resolved that the meeting do hereby adjourn. Do we have a mover? Deputy Mayor, second. Councilor Foster. All those in favor? That's always a good one to have. Thank you. Carried.